Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm sharing a helpful technique that we can use in playing our whistles when we're playing fast passages and we're jumping between notes on the top hand and notes on the bottom hand. It can get a little awkward feeling trying to be a purist, jumping between notes on the top hand, notes on the bottom hand, back to the top hand, back to the bottom hand. And so I'll share the technique. I'll describe it, introduce it, talk about how to protect tone quality while using it. I'll talk about my reservations with it because I have a few. And I'll ask you for your opinions about this. So let me introduce the technique first. The technique is that when you're jumping between notes on the top hand and notes on the bottom hand, there are times when you can leave fingers covering holes on the bottom hand. One of the classics is sometimes when playing a C sharp, just generally people leave the sixth finger covering the hole. Doesn't impact the tone at all. Now, a lot of people do that. See, I use the piper's grip, the full piper's grip on my bottom hand so that my little finger can be there to stabilize the whistle. But if I went to the modified piper's grip where I'm using the pad of that sixth finger, I would need to use that finger to stabilize the whistle playing the C sharp. Something you get used to. So anyway, you're going to hear that recommendation everywhere. So the recommendation is already out there. And I did go searching because this was something I was doing in playing a quick tune. And I was a little concerned that it wasn't kosher. And I found it as a recommendation from quite a few players. I didn't find too many arguments, but I have my own. I'll share in a minute. Anyway, here's the technique. So think about Drowsy Maggie. I'll play slowly through the first line, the B part, the A part once. All right, so you're playing that. Now, if you're trying to play that quickly, you're going bum, 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 bum. That's a lot of bounciness that is gonna get clumsy. What if you could leave some of these fingers down and not hurt your tone? That's the technique. So as I play the B's in that opening section, I'm going to leave holes 4 and 5 covered. Okay, that is instantly easier for me to do. And so you could do it. Now, my concern here is, as I did with demonstrating the C sharp, use the sixth finger to stabilize your whistle. I'm concerned about the impact on tone quality. I think tone quality is that important. So, minimal impact on tone quality if I cover holes 4 and 5 while playing the B. So that's not hurting the tone really to do that. Now, the Mountain Road reel, just play through the first few measures slowly. Okay, you're playing that. Now, this technique there would have you leave the fourth hole covered. But I first, when playing, See, you're only moving the top hand then, accomplishing all that quick work. Am I hurting the tone? I'm diminishing it slightly. But this technique is let some of the fingers you're using on the lower hand rest in place in a quick passage. Okay? Now, that works. It's a technique that works for us. And I've been using my Howard for that bit. I've got the Killarney high D. This works just as well on the high D. Now, the C natural, I still leave. I just like my little finger stabilizing there. But if my little finger was out of the way, I would need to stabilize the whistle using the 6th hole. See, I can leave that 4th hole covered. I'm not really damaging the tone. It enables me to play faster. Now, if in Drowsy Maggie, I can, in that 2nd measure, I can then pick up that 5th finger. See, and in saying that, that's where I want to throw my reservations about this technique. See, it's a technique I was using because, I learned Drowsy Maggie over a year ago and I've not played it much, and I'm gonna record it for our tune library, and I thought I need to really get back up to speed on this tune because it was an early tune and it's not really in my brain well. So I'm practicing it, and I thought I could leave some of these bottom hand fingers down, and I was worried about it being cheating. I mean, remember, I was trained classically. I a bit of a perfectionist with what my fingers are supposed to do, and so I had to tell myself, get over it. And so I went to forums, I went to watch people on YouTube, and yeah, there are people out there recommending this and discussing it in the forums. My concern, I do not want to do anything that will cause a habit for you and me that anytime I'm playing a B that I'm covering holes 4 and 5. I don't want to do that. The purist in me wants to make sure I'm using the right fingers in the right places, covering the right holes, because that is where tone quality exists. And yet, I say to myself, we talk about the C natural. How do you play a C natural? Do you half hole the top hole? Do you use holes 2 and 3? Do you use holes 2, 3, 5, 6? How do you play a C natural? That one, you don't have to answer that one. You see, using different fingerings is really kind of an accepted practice. So my real concern is I don't want to develop the habit of making my bottom hand lazy. I want my bottom hand to work like it should. I want only the notes, the tone holes covered that should be covered to play the whistle. However, if in a faster passage, I need, especially during that learning period, to leave some of the fingers of my bottom hand down, I think that's okay. Now, if you always want to do that, moving forward on faster passages, to me that has to be okay, because it's what you're doing. and it's fine for you. But my caveat is that I want my fingers doing consistent things. Ultimately, I want to be able to play so well that I'm not thinking about leaving that fingers on my lower hand down during those quick passages. But I've got to realize I'm not a puppy anymore. I'm a little older. My fingers aren't as fast as they were when I was 40 years, 50 years younger than I am right now. 50 years younger than I am right now. This would not have been a question, how to play this. My fingers would have just jumped around. So it's important for us to have some techniques that enable us to play faster passages in faster tunes. Maybe you could create the memory that this is something you do only in those situations. Fine. Do what you need to do. I wanted to introduce this technique. I want to say I don't ever want to have to use it, but I do use it when I'm learning, and you might even see it in my playing sometimes, because if it doesn't hurt the tone and it works and it doesn't damage my habits of playing, then it's fine. Now, this only is going to work on fast tunes. When you're playing a slow tune, you got all the time in the world to move your fingers correctly between one note and another. So I really shouldn't be concerned that we're going to damage our habits of playing. It's probably something we're only going to use in those quick, jumpy passages. But my friends, I wanted you to know this technique. I wanted to introduce it to you. Now, here at the end of our time together, I want to know, what do you think of it? Do you use this technique? Are you opposed to it? Do you use it and you're opposed to it? And remember, this is an opinion ground area. This is not a you're doing something wrong if you use this. So I'd love to hear from you all. I do hope this is helpful, my friends. It's a technique. It's a beneficial technique. And it may be beneficial for many of us. I'm going to sit and watch a number of really, really great players and see if they ever do it. But I've heard some really good players say they do. So what do you do? Have you ever used this? Is it something you use only during the learning process? Please chime in and tell us. If you're brand new and just checking us out, I'd love for you to subscribe and join this great community we have of folks learning to play the whistle together. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.